Good morning. Welcome back to another one in Nathan Bell's series of 100 commentary videos. Today, after you've liked and subscribed, sit back, grab yourself a cup of coffee and listen to Nate talk about Richard Dawkins' response to God and, I guess, alien intervention in human life.
Yeah, well, it was really interesting. I watched an interview where an interviewer named Ben Stein, who is Ferris Bueller's teacher, was interviewing Richard Dawkins in a documentary. He was interviewing him about God, which of course Richard Dawkins dismissed, which is good because, I have some ideas of God, but really I don't believe in God. But it was interesting in the video, Richard Dawkins commented on the notion of intelligent design, and he stated quite clearly his view that it could happen this way. It could be that many millions of years ago in the universe, a species evolved. They would have to have evolved by some explicable means, Richard Dawkins said, through some Darwinian evolution or by some way that was explainable by science, but that they evolved and they basically became super advanced and developed genetic engineering technology, and that they gained the capability to create life from scratch, and that they may have potentially seeded life on this planet. Now, this is the idea that's presented in one of my favourite movies, the movie Prometheus, where the engineers came here to the Earth many millions of years ago, in the early days of the Earth, and they seeded life on the planet. Now, I just thought it was really exciting to hear a man of Richard Dawkins' calibre express this idea, because it shows us that this is an intelligent idea. This isn't a silly idea held by fools or idiots. Richard Dawkins made it clear that this was entirely possible and within the realms of science, that there could be a species who have genetic engineering capabilities, who travel around the universe, seeding life on planets, and it's like they're the gardeners. They're the gardeners of life. They're the creators of life on planets. But the thing to understand is these species are not a deity. They do not exist outside of the universe, and they did not create the realm of the universe. They must have evolved within the universe as a part of the universe, evolving naturally through explicable means, and then they have learned how to create life through science and technology. So they are not an all-powerful magical deity with supernatural powers who waves a magic wand and then all of a sudden life and the universe appears, and they did not appear from nothing. They have developed their science to a level where they are able to create life, and so they do that. And I like to think that one day, many hundreds of years in the future, humanity may take this path if we're able to get out and explore other solar systems and other star systems and other galaxies. We may decide, if our genetic engineering capability has got to a point where we can engineer life from the beginning, that we may go around and we may find dead planets, desolate planets, and we may seed them with life, because I think that would be a cool thing to do. And I can see why a species with that capability would want to do that. I mean, wouldn't you want to do that if you were able to see a planet that was desolate and bare and had no life on it, and had no flora or fauna, nothing, and you were able to go there with your technology and give life to that planet? That's beautiful creation. And that's what the engineers do in Prometheus. They're beautiful creators. They see dead, desolate worlds and they seed them with life so that there can be more life in the universe, because life is the most precious thing in the universe. The universe is full of a lot of arid, dead spaces. There's gas giant planets where nothing could ever live. There's dead worlds where nothing could ever live. So life is the most precious thing in the universe. So if we can create life, I think that would be a beautiful thing to do. And I imagine that the alien engineers are quite a benevolent species. They're a loving species, and they view themselves as creator beings, giving the gift of life to new worlds. So it's like I've said in previous videos, imagine Mars, a dead planet, inhospitable. What if we could go to Mars with our technology? If we could get our technology to a point where we could engineer an environment on Mars, and we could engineer new life on Mars and create a livable world on Mars and an atmosphere on Mars, it would be like we were the gardeners. We go to this dead, desolate planet and we bring beautiful life to the planet, and we create a lush, beautiful environment, because there's a lot of empty space in the universe. Probably most of the planets in the universe are inhospitable. They're gas giants and they're dead planets without atmospheres and where nothing could live on. So that's empty space. It's like real estate. It's just sitting there and there's nothing happening there. So why not go there and create beautiful life there? And I like to imagine what these engineers must be like. They must be the most mystical characters. They must just travel around the galaxy finding dead worlds and giving life to them, and then they create the life on the planet like the engineers did in Prometheus. Then they leave and they don't announce themselves. It's not like they want to create the life on the planet so they can rule over it. They don't create life on the planet, then the life evolves, then they come in and rule over it and dictate to it how it should be. In Prometheus, it's like, and in Richard Dawkins' theory, it's like they create life, then they go away and they leave it to its own course, which I think is a beautiful thing, because that's how it should be. Life should take its own natural course, and then perhaps they watch. So maybe, it was interesting to see that Richard Dawkins thinks that this is a credible theory, and that he says that this is entirely possible and within the realms of science. So I imagine that we were seeded by the super advanced civilization that seeded life on this planet by putting the genetics on the planet that would evolve eventually into us. And imagine that they're out there and they're watching us, and we have no idea. We don't know that they're watching us, but they're always observing us, and they have created life all throughout the galaxy. They have created many species, and they watch over them all. So they're almost like gods in a way, but they're not gods, because they're physical beings, and everything they have done by creating life is done through science and through their species' comprehensive understanding of genetics and what makes life. So they don't have any supernatural powers. They're not magical beings. They don't just wave their hands, then all of a sudden life comes into existence. And this doesn't say that we have a soul, and it doesn't say that there is a deity that created the universe. It just says they are a super advanced species. They may have existed for many millions of years, and they're so advanced in their technology that they have the capability to do this, so they do. So, I really didn't expect Richard Dawkins to come out with that view, so I was really surprised that Richard Dawkins takes that idea seriously. I wonder whether he thinks that's what happened on the Earth. He says it's possible, but just because it's possible doesn't mean that that's what he thinks happened. He's just saying that it's possible that that could play out in the universe, that sort of scenario could happen. And I wonder whether one day we will be a species like that, and we will go to other planets and create life on them. But if you want to see a really interesting portrayal of this idea, watch Prometheus. It's a part of the Aliens series. It's my favourite movie in the Aliens series, and one of my favourite science fiction movies. I really think the engineers are an interesting species. So you can take that idea seriously, that life on the Earth could have been seeded by a super intelligent alien species. And another thing that Richard Dawkins acknowledges in the video, he says these species would be he uses the term higher intelligence. Now, a lot of people on Earth are stuck in this now thinking. They think that the human capacity for intelligence is as far as it can go. But what you've got to realise is it's entirely possible that a biological creature like a human being could take another step in evolution. We could evolve a step further. And at the moment, we seem to have one of the highest cognitive intellectual abilities of any species on the Earth. The dolphins are also very intelligent, the whales are very intelligent, and there are a number of other creatures on the planet which have extremely high intelligence. They have language and they have capacity for reasoning and logic skills. But at the moment, we seem to be one of the highest level of cognitive capacity of any species on this planet. But we shouldn't think that that is the end of it. I can see a future many thousands of years in the future, if we don't destroy ourselves, where human beings will take another evolutionary step and our brains will actually not necessarily get bigger. It's more about like neuron density and how the brain is structured, but we may evolve to a level where we can think faster, we can compute more information. You know, it might be, it's like Einstein knew a whole lot of stuff all at once, all at the same time. It was always in his head. So it could get to the point where any human being would be so naturally intelligent that from a very young age they could comprehend quantum physics without really having to study it or without really having to read about it. It would just be a natural ability to comprehend complex mathematical equations and the nature of the universe. So Richard Dawkins talked in the interview about the notion of higher intelligence, and that there could be species further evolved in their intelligence and intellectual capability than us. So yeah, it was interesting to see Richard Dawkins talk about this hypothesis. And I was excited to hear him give it weight. So drop a comment in the comment section about what you think about the idea that there could be a higher intelligent species who seeded the Earth.